Hello Facebook, very nice to see you today. Welcome to my kitchen. I was just saying to our friends on Instagram that it is hot in my kitchen, which is why I put on like the lightest thing I could find, and I do have the window open. So you guys need to tell me, because the microphone is really sensitive on Facebook, if it just sounds too noisy, or I know last time I had the window open it sounded like there was a gale. Morning Lucy, morning, hi Sally, hi Amanda, hi Patsy, hi Claire, lovely to see you. Hello, hello, thank you for all the waves and the hearts, really nice to be with you. So if you were on my Instagram this morning, you will have seen that I've been in the garden, and I got changed because I was wearing jeans in the garden and a little woolly t-shirt thing, which was just way too hot once I came into the kitchen. So this number is actually from my lovely friends at Aspiga. You've heard me talk about them before. This is the ethical fashion brand, and they give us a discount. So I would just mention that very quickly because I know everybody always wants to know about discounts, and it's Liz Loves. So you go to aspiga.com. But yeah, just to show you, it's pretty, isn't it? And it's got pockets, which I like. I've actually belted it because I like things with a waist. I was going to show you this belt because this, on their website, you can see it's all sort of lovely and floaty, which is really nice. Make a great maternity dress, wouldn't it? Not that I'm going there again. No, I think that stable door has shut anyway. But I just wanted to show you this because this I brought back from one of my travels to Kenya, and it's mother of pearl. Isn't that pretty? Really, really pretty. And then it had a handmade little silvery buckle. I'll just show that up there. So pretty. Love all that kind of artisan stuff. And I think it's particularly nice because I know that Aspiga work with a lot of women's groups in Kenya. They do beautiful beaded sandals and all sorts of things. So really worth checking out and using that code. But I mean, I do like floaty things, but I think sometimes it's nice to just give yourself a bit of a waist too. So, yeah, you like it loose, Mary Lou? Yeah, I kind of like it loose as well. It's also quite long. I'll take pictures later and put them on my Instagram. Anyway, I'm going to get cracking because I've got something really lovely to share with you, which I wanted to cook. Before that, I'm going to drink some of my golden shot. Look at that for a colour. Oh, my goodness. That is just sunshine in a bottle, isn't it? And I've been saving it for the live. I haven't had anything... any of my juices today. When did I drink the green one? Was that yesterday? I can't remember the days, like blurring. I think it was, wasn't it? Well, this one, so this is the 3-day supply because it's a shot, because it's so concentrated. So I'm just going to use a third of that. And this one has got, if I look at my little leaflet from Healthy Juice Company, pineapple, fennel, turmeric, ginger, lime, raw organic honey, olive oil, black pepper and cayenne pepper. And the reason that the oil is in there and the black pepper is that if you're having turmeric, if you're using turmeric in cooking, or you're having turmeric supplements, or you're making turmeric tea, which is really easy to make, in order to get it absorbed better in the body, it likes a little bit of oil, so a few drops of olive oil or whatever, and a little bit of pepper. So it's the curcumin, I think, in the black pepper that helps to utilise more of the turmeric, and that's why it's so good for us in things like curries, because you're often using oils and other spices and things. So anyway, cheers. Oh gosh, that is good. It's tangy. Wow, it's quite powerful. These are definitely not juices for glugging. They are powerful stuff. Don't forget that you also do get, which I didn't show you last time because I didn't have them to hand, that's the vitamin C and the VSL3, the billions of colony-forming bacteria that you get in your probiotics. So I'm really pleased that you're enjoying that. The other thing that everyone seemed to absolutely love was my chat on Saturday. It was Saturday, wasn't it? With Henrietta from the Rare Tea Company. How brilliant was she? Oh my goodness. Honestly, I could have talked to her for hours. And so many of you have commented, and she's been so brilliant. She's there in Copenhagen at the moment, enjoying what looks like a lovely time because they've got a lot of restrictions lifted over there. And she was just on my Instagram answering lots of questions. So if you want to check that out from Saturday, if you haven't looked at it, I know it's also saved on Facebook. Just amazing. And one of the things that she recommended, which I've done here, was after I made all that lovely tea blend, I think it was Soothe Me, which had, oh, honestly, it was so delicious. It was the chamomile flowers, the organic spearmint, and there was another herb, I can't remember the name of it. So I let it go cold. I actually made extra, so I kept refilling my little glass teapot, and then I did what she said, and I kept it in the fridge, and I have been using this to top up my juices to make them go further. Isn't that a genius idea? So, you know, because these concentrated juices, they are quite expensive. Oh, that is really nice. And on a hot day like today. So what I particularly liked about what she was saying, if you remember, if you didn't manage to tune in on Saturday, she was talking about cold steeping. So this is where you have your herb tea or your fresh herbs or dried herbs or whatever, and you put them in a litre of water in the fridge and you let it steep overnight. So you don't actually need to use boiling water at all. And she was talking about the benefits of the therapeutic properties being preserved, and oh, it's just great. Anyway, thank you, Henrietta, for being with me on Saturday, and thank you very much for that tip, which particularly now the weather is getting a bit warmer, is going to be just so useful to refresh us all. Lovely. So if you were on my Instagram yesterday, you will have seen that last night I made my boys, well, it wasn't kind of a pizza, it was more of a torte. I think it would be unfair to call it a pizza. And it has come out of Yearbook 1, if you've got that. If not, it's a very simple recipe, so just pay close attention and I'm sure you'll pick it up. It's basically, you make a pastry-like base, and then you shove lots of amazing veggies on. These are the chard leaves I picked this morning. And what I did with that, actually, just to get going before I talk about the pastry, is I've separated them. So I've just snipped off the ends of the leaves. Obviously they've got lots of stalks, and I've got some red chard here, which is really nice. So what I've done is I have just chopped the stalks really finely, and I'm going to cook those first because they take a little bit longer to cook than the actual leaves. The leaves don't take any time at all. So I'll just pop those in there. Don't let me forget them, okay? And I'll tell you about the pastry. So the pastry, just got water all over my iPad. Never mind, I don't think it's only a few drops. Thank you, Amy. Hi, Amy on Facebook. So Amy is my digital editor. Thank you for turning up on a bank holiday Monday, Amy. Bless your heart. We really appreciate it, don't we? Nice clap for Amy. And what Amy does is she feeds me through the questions live. It's very clever, isn't it? All this technology stuff. And so she can remind me of stuff, or because I can't, I'm looking at two phones here. I've got one phone for Instagram, one phone for Facebook. So it's really hard for me to read all the time. You're still waiting for your Yearbook 1. Ooh, Priory Farm, I'm sorry about that. It may be the post, because they have definitely all been sent out. But if you think that something might have gone astray, do email. My lovely team do pick up their emails because they're working from home. It's hq@lizearlewellbeing.com, and we'll check it and just make sure that it did actually go out, because when we take everything to the post office, just move it up slightly, our lovely post lady gives me a list of all the postcodes, so it's very easy for us to check. Hi, look at all your lovely comments. Really nice to see everybody. Thank you. What a lovely community on a sunny bank holiday. So I've got a few questions here which I will try and crack through before I go through the rest of the talk. By the way, if you're wondering, if you do have Yearbook 1, it's page 92. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to have that for my lunch. I'm going to set up a table outside with my boys, because I did actually make one last night, and that's what made me think it would be really nice to share with you, because it went down so well. And my little one, who is, he's 10 and he's a bit picky, and if I presented him with a bowl of this and say, well, this is your supper, he'd say, I'm not going to eat that. But actually he had, I don't know, seconds and thirds of it because he really enjoyed it. And it is really, really tasty and so easy. And you don't need chard, you could use spinach or spring greens or anything, So just a couple of quick questions before I crack on with that. This is a comment rather than a question from Blossom and Green. It's come through on Instagram. Thank you. And she writes, I had BRCA1 and had a double mastectomy and my ovaries out. I was told it would be okay and it was horrendous. So sorry to hear that. Eventually went to see Dr. Louise Newson after reading about her by Liz Earle, and she has changed my life. So great. And of course that's relevant because when we were chatting with the Rare Tea Lady on Saturday, she revealed that she had had a hysterectomy or an oophorectomy, where we removed the ovaries, and again she was told by her male surgeon that she'd be fine. And of course I think a lot of these surgeons, they don't do the follow-up after bit, do they? They don't see patients necessarily, months on, or in some cases afterwards at all. They're kind of referred on back into their GP or their care system, and the surgeons are brilliant at their surgical skills, which is in the operating theatre, whipping stuff out and stitching you back up again, and not necessarily following up afterwards. So really, really interesting. And if you want to hear more about that, obviously Diane Danzebrink is the brilliant campaigner. I've recorded a podcast with her, at least one podcast, and she's got a great menopause support group on Facebook, and she particularly focuses on surgical menopause and hysterectomy and all of that, because that was her own experience. So thank you very much for sharing that. It's really generous of you to share, and I'm so pleased that we were able to help. Jacqueline on Instagram says, what do you think of dermaplaning? Interesting. Do you know, just before lockdown, I was due to go and get my face dermaplaned, and all my friends in LA swear by it, and this is where they kind of shave your face with it looks like an old-fashioned cutthroat razor. And anyway, it sounds a bit weird, but they swear by it. So yeah, I was about to go and try it out so I could write about it for the magazine, when of course we all got kept indoors. So anyway, I will try it and I'll let you know. But if anybody else has got any experience of it, then please. You are going to be making burgers for tea, and we'll eat them in the garden. Lovely. Yeah, oh good. Lots of nice comments. Thank you. Kathy Taylor. Hi, hello, nice to see you. Lots of chat going on Facebook, I can see, particularly about help for menopause. So do check out Diane Danzebrink. I know there are lots of menopause groups on Facebook. Some, to be honest, are better than others. I would follow Menopause Doctor and Diane Danzebrink. I think hers is called Menopause Support. It's a private group you have to request to join, but they're very generous. And they have proper doctors and nurses. They don't have any vested interest. They're not trying to sell you stuff. They're just trying to give you good information. Oh, this is good. This is from Lizzie on Instagram. She said, I was recently listening to Liz talking about cheap extra virgin olive oil in some of the cheapest supermarkets. I was wondering if the same applied to the quality of dark chocolate. I eat 85% dark chocolate. Good stuff. And there is a considerable price difference. You're absolutely right. I've been to some European supermarkets, who I had better not name, and yeah, their dark chocolate is really, really good value. I always look for the fair trade logo. I think some of the smaller companies who work with artisan farmers and growers, they know exactly how things are being grown and the amount of pesticides. If any of you wants to see a bit more on that, have a look at the Cocoa Wars on Netflix. There's a series called Rotten, and that's all about dark chocolate, and it's a kind of a dark, dirty business actually in some cases. So I think we need to look at what other labelling we can see on the pack. Does it say fair trade? Does it say sustainable? But I think, a lot of these big supermarket chains, particularly the European ones, they have such incredible buying power across Europe, across the globe, that they are able to bulk buy masses of certain things and offer them very cheaply. So, if you can get it and you can question them, they've often got very good customer care as well, and they will talk about where their sourcing comes from and the checks and stuff that they do. So yeah, let me know. Can you it's the last question, then I must get back to my cooking. Can you tell us the name of your pink climbing rose? I think the one you mean was the one on my Instagram, which I think is St Swithin's Climber. That's from David Austin Roses. So great. Anyway, I will pop that down just for one sec while I check this. So what I've also done here actually in advance, coming out of frame, is I've also, for this recipe, you're going to need an onion, and the recipe says you need a red onion, and of course I don't have any red onions, so I have used a white onion and a little bit of garlic. So I hope you can see that in there. That's just literally chopped and fried off to caramelise a little bit in some extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and these have cooked up nicely. These were my little ends of Swiss chard, so I'll take that off for a sec and chop the rest of my chard. And I love it. I get really excited, simple pleasures, when I see holes in my veg, as long as there's no creatures actually still attached. And that's because it really shows that there's no pesticides, there's no herbicides, post-harvest fungal treatments, all of that stuff that can go onto veggies. And you know, it's good to share, isn't it? So, I mean, that's obviously been well shared, that leaf. So, yeah, if you're out and about, I mean, obviously if you've got your own garden or you're buying it, you know, from a local supplier that you know, or a friend has given you some from their garden, you know that it's not going to have been sprayed. But it's really hard to know if you're just buying it from the supermarket. So obviously if you're getting stuff that says it's organic, then it won't have been sprayed. So if you find something that you've bought in a shop and it's got a few holes in it, then hurrah. You know, it's like in the old days when we used to go out to restaurants, and you know, if I had a salad and a salad leaf and it, you know, had a hole on the leaf, or you know, maybe even had a little caterpillar, I would say, isn't that great? There's a caterpillar on my salad. Fantastic. That means that it's, you know, it's survived and hasn't been sprayed to oblivion with some kind of toxic chemical cocktail. So anyway, hopefully we'll be going out to restaurants again in the not too far off future. Let's see what happens with all that. Right, now I've put that in there. It's chard. For those of you who have cooked chard before, it's, you know, it's like spinach. It takes almost no time, so it's really quick and easy. And oh my goodness, it's so good for you. We've got a piece, actually Amy, I found on the website this morning, because I was just looking to see if we'd got anything specifically on chard online, and there's a lovely piece actually of content, and it's, I think it's something about how greens are so good for your skin, something like that. So maybe Amy, you can be a love and pop that on. Let me just grab a lid for that. You can pop that online with a link, because it's really interesting to see how greens are so good for us. Now the other thing that I'm going to talk about now is the actual pastry base. So this is super easy to make, and the one that I did yesterday I made with spelt flour, and I bought my spelt flour mail order from Sharpen Park, and then you will have heard me talk about them before. They Sharpen Park is just down the road from here in the West Country, down in Dorset, and it, or maybe they're Somerset actually, and it's run by Roger and Monty Saul. Roger Saul was the founder of Mulberry Fashion, and when he sold Mulberry he bought Sharpen Park, and as part of that it has an organic farm, and he decided to grow spelt because he had somebody in his family who was had cancer and needed to eat really nutritiously and wanted to eat more nutritiously and more nutritious bread and flours and things like that, so he decided to grow spelt, and that's how that started. And now they make a wide range of spelt products. They're a really lovely organisation, and their mill, honestly, because of all the flour shortages, has been going 24/7 making more and more spelt flour. So you can buy it online, and they also do spelt pasta and all sorts of really nice things, and their supply comes and goes, so often if you check the website it'll say out of stock, but then it comes back in quite quickly, so it's worth looking. So I use spelt flour, and really easy. I've just got the recipe here just to remind myself. So it's 175 grams of plain flour, and you could use spelt flour, or actually the one that I'm doing just now, I use soya flour. And the reason that I use soya flour is I wanted to do a really low carb version, and it's also gluten-free. So, you know, you can experiment with flours. You know, it doesn't have to be precise. You can use whatever you've got. You could use buckwheat flour, rye flour, barley flour, rice flour, gram flour, anything. And then I've used a tiny little bit of caster sugar, just 1 teaspoon, just a little pinch of salt as well. And there's 125 grams of butter and about 3 tablespoons of iced water. And you just make that into a dough, regular pastry dough. Okay, so that's, and then you just roll it out, set it to one side to rest in the fridge for about 20 minutes, and then put it onto your pastry, onto your baking tin. Or you can use what I've done here, because here is one I did earlier. This is a little pizza. Can you see it's got holes in the bottom? It's actually quite good to use in the oven, because when you put it on the bottom of the oven, the bottom bit crisps up, so it's quite a nice addition. So I just put some baking parchment. Now this, I'm going to show you why you have to watch it really carefully, because the one I did yesterday, last night, I used spelt flour, and that took ages to cook. That, you know, that was honestly, that was in the oven for about half an hour. Oops, let me just check my chard. And And so I kind of thought that this morning, when I was prepping the soya flour one, I thought that might take as long, but actually it cooks really fast. So 10 minutes, that's all it took. And you can see it's a bit burnt around the edges. Never mind, that's what happens when it's real. So what I'm going to do is, find my knife, I'm just going to trim the edges here. And actually it's just going to make it into a nice neat shape. Anyway, if I just trim off the edge, because I'm actually going to put this back into the oven in a little while. So I'll just remove those bits of burntness. Excuse me while I just tip that. Oh, I look forward to the day when I can do this with somebody else holding my phones, and then I don't have to leave you looking at a rather boring set of kitchen implements behind me. So there you go. So I've got a slightly neater looking torte, if you like, a torte base. Now I'm then going to mix up my my chard. So how is this doing? This should be cooked by now. Nearly, actually. I might just give that a few more minutes just to melt down. Because what you're then going to do is you're going to then mix that with your onions and garlic. And that's going to give you the topping. This is the one that I did yesterday, so you can see it got half eaten. And basically on the top, you're going to use the onions and the chard or the spinach or whatever you've got. And then I used black olives and some parsley, and then a really interesting topping which I'll show you how to make. So for this you're going to need an egg, and I need something to break my egg into. Let me just use a couple of mugs. So I've got an egg from my chickens. So a nice good quality egg. Oh gosh, I love eggs. They really are one of nature's superfoods, a complete source of protein, and just so incredibly good for us. Right, so I'm going to use just the yolk. So I'm going to pop that in there. And then I'm going to mix that with, remind myself the recipe. I'm going to mix it now. Okay, so I'm going to mix it with Parmesan, but you could use any cheese, frankly. And I've got, how much have I got in here? I have got a tablespoon, just a grated cheese. That's going, I'm just going to mix it in a mug because I haven't got a bowl. And then the recipe in the book actually calls for creme fraiche. I haven't got any creme fraiche, so I didn't have any creme fraiche last night either. So I thought, what can I do? I know, I shall make something different. So I've got a tiny bit here of double cream that's left in the bottom of a pot. And I'm going to use some of my own yogurt, homemade yogurt, in the double cream. Because what you really want is just to have something that's a little bit kind of creamy and nice, basically, which is what I think yogurt is. So I'm going to mix that in, and then, yes, you've guessed it, I'm going to add just the tiniest bit of kefir. Oh, did you hear that fizz? I took the top off. That's a good sign. That shows it's live and active. This is my Nourish kefir. Just a little bit. Okay, I've talked about this brand before. I've got a great podcast actually with the founder of Nourish kefir. I really like her stuff. So I've mixed that together. So that's kind of made like a bit of a, I mean, it's not exactly creme fraiche, but actually, do you know what? If you had to try that with your eyes shut and you said to somebody, what's this? They might go, ooh, not sure. It tastes a bit like creme fraiche. Ah, good to know. Excuse me, wash my hands. So, let's check on the chard again. Oh yes, that is looking good. So, I'm just going to drain that because then I'm going to mix it with my onions. So, take this over side of the kitchen. It's probably a good thing you can't see that actually. Right, so I'm draining the chard. Whoops. And then what I'm going to do is I shall mix that in with the onion. So chard, like spinach, it takes a bit of draining because it holds lots and lots of water. So you want to get all the water out, so you kind of want to give it a good press. Otherwise your torte is going to be a bit sloppy. And we don't want a sloppy torte, do we? No, we don't. We want a nice crispy, delicious one. So having got my chard cooked, I'm then going to add it to my onion, like that. So let's give it that stir in, and I can show you. Oh, this is so good. It's making me very hungry. So I'm just going to mix in the onion. This is just onion and garlic, sautéed in a little bit of olive oil, with my cooked chopped chard. So I chop the stems up first and put them in first just because they take a little bit longer, and then I chop the leaves, my lovely holy leaves. I did check that there were no inhabitants. So that's all mixed together like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your base and you're going to spoon this generously over your torte. Probably got enough to make two here actually. I might just use half of this. Such a good veg actually. It's a really nice veg dish if you want, if you get Swiss chard or spinach and you just use lots of onions, caramelize them in a little bit of olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is just the business, with a little bit of garlic. Oh, actually, you know what I forgot to add? Stupid woman, I forgot to add the marjoram. So normally what I would do, got it here as well in front of me with marjoram written on it to remind me. This is marjoram that I grew and then dried. So normally I would take the marjoram and I would actually cook it in with the onions. So I'll just sprinkle a little bit in there. But what I'll do for now is I will just sprinkle a bit over the top of my torte. Because the marjoram it just gives a really nice flavour, I find, with the chard and the onions. There you go. So now you've got a lovely greeny looking torte. Now for the topping. So I have got in here my homemade creme fraiche, which was just a little bit of double cream that was left in a pot with some yogurt and a bit of kefir, splash of kefir. Don't tell the boys. And then I'm going to, this mug has got in it an egg yolk and some grated parmesan. So I'm just going to whiz that up together. Egg yolk and parmesan. Oh, thanks, Amy. So Amy has just popped up a link on Facebook actually. It's actually from our website. There is a link to Nourish Kefir and you can buy their stuff online, which is good. And now I'm going to pop in my fake creme fraiche mixture and mix that up together. So this makes just a really nice sort of creamy, cheesy topping. Lots of chats going on. Really nice. Hope everyone's enjoying the sunny bank holiday. Is it sunny where you are? It's beautiful down here in the West Country today, honestly. It's just one of those glorious, glorious days where you just look out of the window and see blue skies. So that is all mixed together. So then I am going to just drizzle that really on top of the torte. Probably going to use only about half of it because I've got lots left. Just like that. Okay, and I'm going to pop that back in a hot oven. So I might just, should I set a timer? No, because it will go tick 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 and be annoying, so I just have to remind me. Liverbird, it's very hot on the Algarve. Beautiful sunny day in Surrey, says Lucy. Oh, Southsea, Susan, very sunny in Southsea, and the weather is beautiful in Cardiff. Beautiful in Cheshire, it's fab in Shropshire, it's gorgeous in Rochdale. Oh, Liz Bridgman, it's cloudy in Kent. Sorry. Andrea, lovely in North Yorkshire, beautiful in Edinburgh, says Margaret. Very sunny in Leicestershire from Priory Farm. It's lovely in Wales, says Sarah. Dorinda, it's sunny in Cyprus. Well, I should jolly well hope so. Fantastic. Oh gosh, North sunny Devon is sunny, beautiful in Hull, lovely in Hitchin, it's sunny in Sheffield. Great! Isn't that good to know? So there you are. You have the global weather forecast and on Facebook as well. Ramsgate, Warwickshire, Forest of Dean. Oh, Linda, super sunny in Barbados. Or are you in Wales? I'm not sure. Shirley, beautiful in Stevenage. And Janet, lovely in Scotland. Oh, cold and windy in, how do you pronounce that? Pedmanoir? Excuse me. Blue skies in Bournemouth, sunny in Windsor, and it's lovely in Cambridge. Excellent. Good. So, what else was I going to tell you about? Let me just check and see what Amy has been up to here with my questions while my torte cooks. Okay, so this is from Lola Snoo. Oh, honestly, I mean, it's great, but it's really hard when you've got tiny little writing. You're trying to, and I so don't like getting people's names wrong. Anyway, you are on Instagram and you say, love your makeup tutorials. Do you have any tips for crepe-like eyelids? Yeah, I mean, my makeup tutorials, they're a bit, I mean, who knew I'd be sitting in my bedroom doing makeup tutorials? But there you go. They have been really popular. So I'm not a makeup artist. It's just something that I've obviously worked with a lot of makeup artists for decades. And I have a big stash of makeup and lots of different things that I do. So I think I've got 2 makeup tutorials and one on brows and one on hair. And they're all up on YouTube as well. So, I mean, that's what everyone does, doesn't it? You know, if you're a makeup tutorialist or whatever they're called, you've got to post them on YouTube. So that's what I did. So yeah, do take a look. So tips for crepe-like eyelids. It depends what, you know, if they're quite oily, really important to put a base of powder on your eyelids, because that means that your eyelids will be properly prepared and your eyeshadow will stay on longer. I also like some of the long-lasting cream shadows, which are very forgiving. They blend really easily and they tend not to crease. I've got a couple upstairs actually. I'll do a little eyeshadow tutorial and I'll cover that in more detail. So yeah, watch this space. Your arms are so toned at the top. What exercises do you do to keep them looking good? That's from Sarah on Facebook. Thank you very much. I was in the gym this morning. I had literally about 10 minutes. So I did some weights. So Michael Gary, who we know and love, he was the one who helped me write A Stronger, Slimmer You, which is my e-guide, which you'll find on Liz Earle Wellbeing. And I've been working my way through that. So I've just been doing that. I've been doing more repetitions. So as you get stronger and fitter, you can build up and do more. So he's great. And I think the reason why the e-guide is particularly useful at the moment is you don't need any equipment. You just use your body weight. So for example, I do lots of push-ups. And if you can't get down on the floor and do one, you know, you can do them here. You can do them, you know, just kind of against the work surface. And it's so much easier than doing it on the floor. So you can just start by doing that, okay? And then you just build up. So, you know, you count how many you're doing, and then you increase the number of repetitions. And then you can start doing them on the floor. You can do them on the floor with bent knees to start with, and then you do a full plank. This top not going correctly. It always annoys me if it's not straight. I can see myself in the phone. So, and then you build it up. So then something that I put on my website is the kind of the next level to get toned, and that's to start using weights. And I put a link actually to a weight jacket that I've started using. So I was in the gym this morning and I knew I didn't have very much time, so I had to make it a little bit more intense. And that's what I do if I haven't got a proper half hour or 40 minutes. Then if I've only got 10 minutes, I'll go and I'll do a few weights or just something with a weight jacket. So I did my push-ups this morning with a weight jacket on. So this is just a 5 kilo weight jacket. And they're just great things because you can wear them, you can go out for a walk and you can wear them, you can just wear them around the house, you can just, if you've got stairs in your house, you can just do a few sets of stairs wearing your weight jacket. And if you wear a weight jacket and you're doing push-ups, that is quite a lot of extra weight to have to push, and of course it's all, you know, it's all helping here. So but a lot of the exercises that he's given me are really good. We actually filmed, I think we've done 3 films, they're also on YouTube, and we filmed them upstairs in my bedroom. So he was on FaceTime, so he was on my iPad telling me what to do, and I was there in my leggings and bra, basically, kind of, not quite, but you know what I mean, just a little top and my leggings, just and I put an exercise mat, a yoga mat out in the bedroom, and he was talking me through what to do, and we decided to film it. So my son actually filmed it on my phone, and then we put it onto YouTube. So yeah, so take a look. It's I think I've got 3 of them, and they talk about warming up, stretching. There's one for abs, there's one for hips and thighs and bums, and there's a general one, I think. And we were thinking about doing some more, so let me know. You know, it's always good to let me know in the comments. On Instagram, I don't do direct message, but I do reply to comments, so you can always leave me a comment. Facebook, obviously it's easy, you can leave me comments as well. Oh, thanks, Amy. I've just seen that you've put up links to all of that, to the fitness routines, and also to the weight jacket, if you're interested in that. Tiggy Harrington here says on Instagram, I don't need a jacket, I already have the extra weight. Excellent. Yeah, you guys, you're just having your own conversations, aren't you, really? It's but it's glorious in Cheshire, says Lottie, so that's really good. A lot of chat about eyebrow dye. Did you see on my brow tutorial? I've dyed my eyebrows, so I've also had a go at a bit of home dye as well in my hair, which I'm going to feature on my Instagram as well. And I'm using Colour Wow, that like powder that you can put in your hairline here to hide the greys. Is it Lucy says, I've done all your workouts, they're great. Brilliant, brilliant. And Harry's Girl says, blowy but warm in Northern Ireland. There you go. So let me see, before I go, what the torte is looking like. Hopefully it looks all right. It's always a bit of a worry, isn't it, when you do these things live. Yes. I might, oh no, I think that's pretty perfect. I was going to say I might give that a few extra minutes, but I think not. So, there we go. It smells great. Oh, lots of hearts. Thank you. And what I will do here now, just to finish it off, is I've got some chopped black olives, which I will sprinkle over the top. I love black olives, so I think I'll use all of those actually. I won't use half of them. And then I've got some parsley, just a little bit of fresh parsley that I picked just before we started. So let me just give that a quick chop. That's probably enough, and on that goes, there we are. Et voila! Lunch for me and my boys. I hope you enjoyed that. And the recipe isn't online because it's in the book, but you can see it's pretty simple, okay? It's just a pastry base of whatever flour you want to use. Really interested to see what my boys think about this, because this is the soya flour base, so it'll be very low carb and packed with greens, whatever greens. If you can't get Swiss chard, but there's loads of Swiss chard around at the moment, you can use spinach, you can use frozen greens, you can use spring greens, whatever you like. So before I go, just a few other little notices. I shall obviously be back with you tomorrow. Might do a bit of beauty tomorrow. What do you reckon? Might go back up to the bedroom because there's been a lot of chat about makeup and things. Just to say, this is obviously the current issue. If you want information on the Wellbeing Shop box I was talking about, you'll find it here or online. And if you've got this magazine, I was just flicking through some of the recipes here. There's a whole section on salad days. Really, really good. So these are the current recipes that we've got in the current issue. So there's a chemula marinated chicken salad with preserved lemons, frika and fresh herbs. This is a great one, a Moroccan salad niçoise. A carrot slaw salad. I'm going to be making that later. I don't know if anybody's doing any barbecuing. But this one is carrots, so it's grated carrots or spiralised carrots, red onion, orange, olive oil, cumin, raisins, toasted pine nuts and fresh parsley. Really simple, doesn't that look delicious? This one I thought looked really good as well, the artichoke and broad bean salad. That's obviously very seasonal, artichokes and broad beans in season at the moment. I've got both in my garden. And this is a roasted chickpea and cauliflower harissa salad. So colourful. You know, we eat with our eyes, don't we? And it's just lovely. Oh, and this is great. I actually turned the page here. I'd forgotten that we had this. This is how to make sourdough. And we've also got an article online about it if you're interested, because it's a bit of a faff. It takes a while, but, you know, we've got time, haven't we, these days on our hands to try things like this. So this is making sourdough and then using it as a pizza base. So it talks you how to do it. I don't know if you can see there, sourdough pita bread or sourdough pizza. Really good. Might try that actually myself. And then the puddings. Oh, the cherry and almond trifle. Yes, please. Rather like that. More recipes, of course. I was cooking today from yearbook 1. We do, of course, have yearbook 2. And I've got my stash actually down here on the farm, which is great because it means that I can send them out quick and easily, and I can sign every one as I send them out, which I always do with my books. And we do still have a few of the limited edition yearbooks. And these are the ones that I found in my studios when I was there a few days ago. I'd forgotten actually, this is sort of embossed in the back, it's indented. And this, if I hold it up close, lovely to be able to show you, this is a linen, printed fabric linen-y cover. And it's got the metallic embossing, so it's really special. We only ever printed 200 of these, so I was so thrilled when I found a box because I thought they'd all gone. Unfortunately, all the limited edition yearbook 1s have gone, but we do have a few of the yearbook 2s. And then what I do is to make them extra special, we have a little special book plate, and you can say online what message you'd like to put in. There's been some lovely messages coming in, and then we can send it either to you or to somebody of your choice with a personal message, which I write and sign. But we only have, as I say, a limited number because when they are gone, sadly they are gone. But one of my weekend chores or bank holiday chores later on today is to take my boys. They don't know this yet, so I hope they're not watching, otherwise they'll just go off and, you know, hide. I'm going to take them over to the farm office, and I brought back boxes of archive magazines, some of the lovely back issues, and I'm going to see what we've got and see what bundles we can pack up and pop onto the website hopefully tomorrow. So if you're interested in those bundles of back issues, then do keep checking, because I know they go. I mean, literally, we load them onto the website, and then I say to my team, but you haven't loaded them. And they say, yes, we have, and they've all gone. So that is something that I'm going to be doing later on today. So anyway, I shall look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Let me know if you make the Swiss chard torte or anything from the magazines or the yearbooks. Do please tag me. I'd love to see. I always share the pictures you can see on my stories, and it's just lovely to kind of share the love and be supportive. And Lottie, your bundle is coming. It's coming. It's the poor old post. Honestly, it's amazing. Can I talk about Neil's Yard tomorrow? Potentially. I'm actually going to do something with, I've got a lot of their oils, the essential oils from Neil's Yard, and I'd like to do a whole aromatherapy thing because I think it's lovely to be able to use blends and all sorts of stuff. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Marie. Lovely to see you. Oh, have a great rest of the day. And Dillis is saying she'd like the Christmas 2019 magazine. I think we do have that on the website. I will have a look. We don't have every single one. Oh my goodness, I've nearly forgotten to tell you the best news. If you want free magazine reading, yes, we all want free magazine reading. So there's this company, you may have heard of it already. It's called Readly. And they have online magazines. I mean, I don't know how many they've got. They've got hundreds of thousands of online magazines from all over the world. And Liz Earle Wellbeing is now with them as a digital magazine. And normally you subscribe to Readly, and I think it's $7.99 a month. And it gives you access to literally hundreds of thousands of magazines. Lots and lots of titles all around the world. You know, if you want to read, I don't know, Australian Women's Daily, or, you know, whatever it is, you can read Hello Magazine, you can read, you know, Good Housekeeping, you can read everything. And Liz Earle Wellbeing, obviously, and the back issues. So they've got back issues as well as the current one. So you sign up and it's $7.99 a month and you get all these magazines, which I think is just genius as we're wanting to scroll through and get some new material and reading and features and stories and all of that. And even better, at the moment, your first month is free. And then if you don't like it, you can just cancel. So you can, if you go to Readly, you can get a whole month of free reading of magazines, including Liz Earle Wellbeing digital, for nothing. So anyway, there's a link. So on Instagram, I've put the link to Readly. If you go to my main biography, which is my little bit of blurb on Instagram, and there's a blue little line that says Linktree. That's your magic door. That's the little key that gets you into kind of behind the scenes access. Click on that and a whole world of goodness is opened up, because there's links to podcasts and recipes and special offer codes and Liz Loves and all of that. And there's a link there to Readly, and you just click through it, takes you to Readly, and then you can, do your own thing. And the same on Facebook. Amy, I'm sure. Hi, Seals in Kenya. How are you, my friend? So nice to have you with me. I so enjoy seeing all that you do on Instagram and putting pictures of Kenya and all of that, and miss it. Got family over there as well at the moment, so all in lockdown, obviously. Anyway, sending a big hug to you. So Seals, if you're in Kenya, or anybody around the world, you don't have to be in the UK, you can go on to Readly, and then you have access to all this great stuff. So let me know what you think. I thought it was genius, especially because you get it free at the moment. So anyway, just a little thing. I will say goodbye now. I really am going, because I'm very hungry and that torte smells delicious. So I'm going to go and have some. So I'm wishing you lots of love for the rest of the day. Thanks for being with me. Bye bye.